selective process, people that we were actually fans and continue to create with. What's up, everybody? This is Shot is Hot. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you how I edit my pictures. Now, this video right here is just a workflow video. It's nothing more than that, just showing how I go about pictures and my creative process on it. I'm using Lightroom when I edit these pictures, and sometimes I use Photoshop, but most of my base editing and the exposure and everything like that is done on Lightroom. So let's get started. All right, to start off, on these pictures, I took these pictures a couple days ago with my friend Lexi. Shout out to her. So a lot of these pictures are just kind of, I try to do something a little different. The pictures I took outside, and I had some ones I took inside. So these are just some of the ones, untouched, unedited, even ones like that. And I had some ones inside, inside a coffee shop. So these ones are untouched and everything like that. So the one I'm going to work on today, though, is I'm going to mess with these ones. So these ones are a little bit more creative, my style. So to start off, as you can see, it has not been touched or nothing like that. There's nothing on the side. I haven't messed with exposure, contrast, or nothing. So what I usually do for my workflow, I usually just go through the like the tones and everything like that. I try to see, what catches my eye, and always make sure your brightness is turned up so you can actually see like how you want it to look. So my main thing is I just mess with the brightness and see how I want to get it. Sometimes you don't have to mess with it, and depending on how your camera settings are, but sometimes I like to go inside of Lightroom and actually tweak things and change things up. So I'm just looking at, I'm just messing with the exposure a little bit. As for the contrast, you can see it kind of makes it darker, and you can see that it makes the blacks come out more. So I'm kind of messing with that. I'm trying to go for like a certain look. I wanted it to be kind of like pinkish, and I wanted the colors to kind of pop out. So go from that. So next part, I'm messing with the highlights so I can kind of get the background a little bit and see how that changes, how bright I want it to be. So like I said, I kind of want it more more intense a little bit. So I'm gonna drop it down a little bit. Shadows, kind of like that. Kind of brings it out more. Mess with your whites a little bit, and you can kind of see like to the eye, how you want it. That's how I go by it. I kind of look through it and kind of see what looks good to the eye. So over time, you kind of get used to it, how you want your pictures to look. So I'm adjusting the eye a little bit. Brighten that a little bit. So next thing is, after do that, I think that looks cool. I kind of go down to the texture and the clarity. So the texture kind of makes it more intense and more detailed. So if you go to the left a little bit, it kind of makes it more blurry. Then if you go to the right, it makes it more detailed. You can see more like the lines. You can see more of her hair, the facial features. Sometimes when it's too intense, though, you can kind of see like their face, like the stuff on their face too much. So that's kind of not what I usually do. So I kind of adjust with that. Kind of mess with that a little bit. Change the clarity. Kind of makes like the sides darker a little bit. And then dehaze kind of like takes off, like if you have sunlight, it kind of takes off the the haze of the sun hitting you and everything like that. So, but I don't want it too dark. So next, I'm gonna mess with the vibrance. Vibrance actually does with the color. So the higher you take it, the brighter the colors kind of get. So you can see it can get really, really intense, or you can drop them down, and it kind of takes away the color. So I want more color towards mine. So I want something like more like this. When you mess with the saturation, it kind of changes it. It makes it more dull, or it makes it black and gray. So you kind of want to, depending on how you want your pictures to look, you can kind of adjust to that. So I don't like too much of mine. I kind of want to like, just like, really, as you can see, it's kind of like it's only at 3. So I really don't want to touch that too much. Come down here now. This right here, the tone curve, you can kind of go more in depth with your your exposure and everything like that. So there's different colors you can kind of adjust to. So for me, I'm not gonna touch any of the blues or the greens. There's no point. But what I am going to do, I'm going to kind of mess with this to kind of bring up the brightness a little bit. So you can kind of change, you know, depending where you go. And for me, I like a certain kind of brightness, so I kind of mess with this to see, like, to the eye, how I want it to look. I'm trying to get like a nice little glare on it, especially on her skin. You don't want to, like, you know, oversaturate or anything like that. And then you can make another line. See, that makes it kind of dull, so I kind of want to bring it up this way a little bit, kind of give some brightness to it. A little too bright. I don't want to wash it out or nothing like that either. So I want to make it a little bit closer. Kind of mess with the skin. So now when you go down to the color, depending on people's skin and stuff like that too, you can adjust it, and it does affect your skin in a certain way. So I know, like, for people my color, red and oranges or something that kind of mess with my skin and stuff like that. So, you know, her skin is a little bit lighter, so, you know, as you can see, you go more orange, you can change your skin a little bit and kind of mess with that. But you don't really, you want it to look natural and regular. You don't want to do too much with it. So you want to keep it at a certain point that it doesn't look, you know, overly orange, or, you know, even opposite of that. So I just wanted to be like a good skin tone, like a natural color skin tone. So when you kind of see that, you can kind of do that. Next, what I'm going to mess with is, really, it's not grainy or nothing like that. You can mess with that, and the sharpening helps a little bit because it actually gives it like a little, you know, a little nice little touch to it. It kind of takes out any noise. So you kind of want to have how you want it, and you can denoise it too. But on this one, it says it's not there. So, but there's nothing wrong with it either way. So as you can kind of see, this is the picture. This is how it's looking so far. And what I do, I usually go back over stuff and change it, because sometimes, like, once you change something else further down, you might want to readjust it and change it to something else that looks better in your eyes. So for me, I'm going to kind of drop this down, kind of give it like a sharper look by the feet. That's pretty nice. And then exposure, I don't want to overly do it. Like, I'm going to keep it, exposure is cool. I kind of want to keep it like right around there. Nah, a little bit higher up. That's still in her face to show. Like that. That looks good. So I'm gonna go back down to the whites a little bit, kind of bring that up. That kind of gets like the highlights of the sides better, and even these highlights. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit like that. Mess with the haze a little bit. I want that kind of like right about here. Boom. And I'm thinking I'm going to mess with this texture just a little bit. Add some clarity to it. Make it a little bit sharper. Like that. Okay, yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Do that. After that point, you know, if you really like the picture, that's good. So what I usually do, this is some things that people don't know. When you have a whole bunch of pictures, you can legit take this preset and drop it on your other ones. So what you can do, if you wanted to, you can copy everything like that. So I'm basically gonna take everything from like this. You can pick what you want, but I'm taking everything. And there's some things like I don't use either way, so it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'll come to this picture, and these ones look pretty good. I like this one better, and I'll paste it. So now you can see that actually went to the other one, but every picture is different. So for this one, I kind of don't like how it's a little too intense. So like, especially for her skin. So what I want to do, I kind of want to bring her skin over a little bit, and I'm gonna kind of brighten it a little bit, because I think since she was bending down, it kind of took away the brightness a little bit on her face. So I'm gonna up the brightness a little bit on her face. I'm gonna bring this over a little bit. I think that looks good right there. Kind of just have it, you know, how you want to, you know, put it on there. And it depends, you know, what type of look you're going for each time. So I think that looks good, but I want to, not too intense. I'm gonna kind of bring Yeah, I like that. That's actually better. You know, I'm looking at the feet right now, I'm kind of seeing how I wanted it to be kind of intense. So kind of something like that. You can see they're kind of similar in a sense, whatever. So I think I'm gonna drop her skin color down just a little bit on this one. It's a little too orange. And like that, just kind of, yeah, that looks better. So the goal is to make both of them consistent, just like this. So you know they kind of look very similar in a sense. And for her too, I'm gonna drop the texture. I don't like how it's a little too intense. So I'm drop down texture on her on that, and then boom. I think that looks pretty good for the pictures, to be honest. So it all depends, you know, what type of look you're gonna go for. So here's some other ones. So yeah, so pretty much that's just like my workflow when I go through pictures. Pretty much I go through the whole picture, I see what I like to the eye, and I adjust each one. I go down the list and I kind of adjust to each one and see which one looks the best. And once that is done, I go back through it again and kind of adjust it one more time and see how, you know, if I like the picture or not. And sometimes, I mean, it could be a long process, you know, depending on how you want and how you want the look to go for. So these two right here are looking pretty good. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, and I have more videos to come.